Tuesday Meditation, September 18th, 1979. LL Research channeling Hatonn and Latwii. Unknown channeling. I am Hatonn. I greet you, my friends, in the love and in the light of the infinite Creator. It is a very great privilege once more. It is only a short time now till we meet. I am sorry about the delay. We are having some difficulty at this time. I am sorry about the delay. We will continue. I will sign. Sorry, this instrument has inaudible. Conditions are not perfect at this time for contact. I shall start over. I am Hatonn. I am very privileged to be with you this evening. It is unfortunate that I am unable at this time to contact the rest of your group, for we have something important to tell you this evening. Carla, may I ask a question? Carla, is it possible for you to continue through the instrument known as Dawn? Hatonn, I am sorry for the delay. We are having difficulties. Carla, channeling. I am Hatonn, and I greet you again in love and light. We are using this instrument, although she is reluctant to channel at this time, due to her desire to hear our channeling through another instrument. Due to the fact that the one known as Carla is often the only channel, shall we say, in a group, she does not have the opportunity to experience the listening to our words, which has been her inspiration for many years. We are aware that she misses this, and thus we were attempting to use the instrument known as Dawn, both to please the one known as Carla, and also due to the fact that we have information which could be channeled through a more scientifically oriented instrument, which this instrument will only be able to touch upon in the most general sense, due to her lack of understanding in these areas. Before we continue through this instrument, therefore, we shall once again attempt to make contact with the one known as Dawn, if he would refrain from analyzing our words, and, if he is willing, we would so desire. I would now try to transfer this contact. I am Hatonn. Still Carla, channeling. I am again with this instrument. We must use this instrument, and so we will attempt to speak as clearly as possible, using her vocabulary and understanding. You are aware, of course, of a situation in your outer illusion, and perhaps you are also aware that, almost unnoticed by the great majorities of your peoples, your entire planet is hurtling headlong into the greatest crisis possible. The consumption of creative energy has increased the entropy of your planet and its resources, and decreased the available creativity and regenerative abilities of the planet itself. Meanwhile, your peoples ignore these forces of nature, which cannot be depleted. My friends, your peoples do not deserve the beautiful creation of the Father, which constitutes the surface of the sphere on which you dwell. But this is not the important point, my friends. For with the increased entropy of your physical material, there is a corresponding entropy of mental and spiritual creativity. And those who dwell within your culture have more and more become creatures lacking in creativity and imagination, due to the fact that they are one with your planet as they must be, one with the machines that they have created, with the governments that they have created, and with the polarities that they have created. Because of their paucity of understanding, you stand at this point at the brink of many disasters. It is only due to the meditation of those sending love and light to the planetary consciousness that the many, many natural disasters of recent years have not taken an even greater toll in lives. This will continue to increase as the polarity of your peoples becomes more and more evident. Polarity, or separation, is indicative, my friends, of one thing: a lack of creativity. For what is creativity, my friends, but an understanding of creation? And what is the creation but love? And what is love but unity? Thus, it is absolutely inevitable that where your peoples have accepted the fundamental dicta of government, society, and culture regarding differences in ideology, religion, social behavior, and other artificial walls, you will have endless and proliferating polarities. Thus, we move from natural disaster to man-made disaster. You know already of the small disasters that are taking place gradually, so gradually that people become numbed and do not react to them. The disasters of what you call your inflation and its many ills of a society where work is thought of as the lowest form of making a living, and your so-called wheeling and dealing where no work is done but only the manipulation of people and money is thought of as the highest form of work. This disaster and all of its accompanying and corollary problems is breaking your society apart. For those who actually work are very angry, and they band together and demand more and more, and they are locked into a self-defeating and endless struggle for survival. And the same thing, my friends, happens with your governments. Except that with your governments, there are many leaders, not a few, but many, who would consider the possibility of planetary annihilation rather than relinquish an ideology, a piece of land, a power, whether it be economic or political. Your people are so unaware that all of these things are not only possible, but there is a statistical probability that it is growing, that one of your leaders upon your planetary sphere will attempt to use nuclear force to gain an advantage. This, my friends, is the deepest trouble of this cycle upon your planet. You must understand it in the terms of what we began with: the spent energy, the unavailability of creative energy of a planet itself being reflected in the habits of the peoples and in the thoughts of your leaders. It is not creative to consider the destruction of a planet as a diplomatic tool. It is indeed suicidal. But your leaders have become numbed to that fact because they have played the game too long. And because the culture around them is so consistent in its deep sleep of attempting to grab more and more of what is left of the energy of the planet, instead of attempting to restore more and more energy to the planet. What can you do, my friends? We come to you only through the help of a machine, which you would call a small computer. For we are on station at this time over your oriental skies, as you would call them, attempting to deal with those who govern that part of your planet which you call China. They are watching what is happening in the Middle East with great intent to turn the rather complex diplomatic struggle of several nations to their advantage. Their leaders are completely ruthless and would not hesitate to use nuclear weapons if they thought they could win. Nor would others which are involved in this conflict at this time. We may say that your own portion of the planet is, to a lesser degree, bloody-minded, for it has used nuclear weapons and is correspondingly aware of the ferocity and the horror of using them again. Thus, shall we say, you who are Americans are a strong force spiritually against war. For you do truly desire peace, and the spirit of neighborliness and brotherhood is not dead among you as a people. Thus, we ask you please at this time to include in your meditations a prayer for the peace and the brotherhood of your planet, for it's truly needed at this time. Again, we apologize for speaking through this instrument, for we could have been much more specific about the relationship between the laws of physics and the laws of men and metaphysics had we been able to use the vocabulary of the one known as Dawn. However, we thank the one known as Dawn and assure him that we understand that when a channel has not been used for some time, it is often very difficult to re-establish a good contact, due to the fact that an intelligent and analytical mind will inevitably and instinctually analyze our thoughts and thus stop the transmission. We have not said things through this instrument that we would have to the instrument known as Dawn, because we cannot. And this, my friends, is the reason that we welcome each and every channel who would be interested in this service. I would leave you now so that my brother may speak. Questioner: what? Inaudible. Hatonn: yes, my brother. Questioner: which country is it that is possibly endangered? Inaudible. Nuclear. Hatonn: we will attempt to answer through this instrument. There is the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Their leaders are divided, but the majority wishes at this time to roll over Europe, much as in your conflict called by you World War II. The one known as Adolf rolled over much of Eastern Europe and well into Russia. They are aware that this is a tactical time to do so, and they have weapons to deploy which are not nuclear, but which they feel would do a fast and furious job that would annihilate the forces which are called NATO by your peoples. However, they are unwilling in the extremity to deploy tactical nuclear weapons. There is also a desire by the chosen people, as they are called, to ignore their great heritage. For it has been written in your holy work, called the Old Testament, that the Jewish nation should always love the stranger in their midst. For were they not strangers in the land of Egypt? This quotation they have apparently removed from their holy book, for they have such fierce hatred for a group of people who are genetically very like them, known as Palestinians, that there are those among those called Israelis that would, if they thought they could, use nuclear weapons. It is less likely that this would happen due to the fact that the Israelis have a very limited economic stance with the rest of the economic community and are heavily dependent upon the opinion of others for their well-being. This is not true of either Russia, as you know it, or China, as you call it. There are other countries which do not even have nuclear weapons. They are scattered throughout what you know of as the Third World nations. If their leaders were able to lay their hands upon tactical nuclear devices, it is very probable that they would do so. It is entirely unpredictable what the result would be, and your espionage world, as you call it, has never been more active nor more tense, for they know that the stakes are very high at this time. There are those in almost every nation of the world who are angry enough, if put in the proper position, to consider the use of nuclear weapons. For instance, if the proper people in your continent, among those which are called those of Quebec, could be brought to power and had access to the arsenal of nuclear weapons, it is very possible that they might consider threatening to use them in order to achieve independence. We are attempting to tell you just how widespread and difficult this situation is, for it is not impossible to build a nuclear device. The greatest difficulty is in formulating what this instrument would call a detonating device to detonate the nuclear device. We are sorry we cannot be more specific through this instrument, but she does not have the knowledge. Thus, among people who have not the ethical and spiritual consideration to think their position through on behalf of all mankind, you have great danger to your planet at this time. And we are working specifically at this time with the leaders of China, for we find their leaders to be quite devoid of scruples. Is there a further question? Questioner: which of this is the greatest threat at this time? Nuclear threat. Hatonn: your people are not predictable. The most volatile situation is centered around the confrontation between Israel and the rest of the Egyptian community, which you may call the oil nations. China is watching this. Russia is watching this. Others of our brothers are sending vibrations of love to the leaders of Russia, to the leaders of each of the countries in Egypt and to Israel. We can only say that the least scrupulous of them, with tactical ability, is China. This ability is not great, and it is this very lack of supremacy which makes this people the more willing to take risks. Thus, we are working with them, sending them love and thoughts of peace. However, we do not know what will occur in this situation day by day, and therefore cannot predict what will happen or when. We can only say that the statistical chances of your planet being destroyed in a war that will truly end all wars for this cycle, due to the fact that it will remove sentient life from the surface of the planet, is growing. We ask for your prayers. We are attempting to give this instrument another thought, if you will be patient. The difficulty began many years ago when the homeland of Israel was created. This is a historical and fateful creation and fulfills many prophecies. If you can read these prophecies, you can see the possibility of difficulties in the future. However, my friends, the future has come. Not too many years ago, the world as a whole was not polarized enough to become so intensely involved in the difficulties of Israel and Egypt as a whole. Or Arabia, perhaps we should say, for that instrument is very weak in geography. But we are attempting to include all of the nations which surround Israel and which do not appreciate Israel's presence. But the polarity between all of your peoples and your people's ability to be separated from the love of the Creator has become so marked and noticeable that now those countries with oil have become very strong, for other nations wish to destroy. Side 1, recording this session, ends here. We pick up on Side 2 with Carla continuing to channel Hatonn. I am Hatonn. We are sorry for the interruption. We will begin again. Other nations had a desire to continue the destruction of your planet and its resources by destroying that which is called oil. Thus, suddenly the entire world has become riveted by the conflict between those nations and Israel. There is a fateful significance to this confrontation, and we are sure that you will think upon it deeply, For you may see in the chosen people, as they are called, a great body of good, bad, right and wrong. In some, the essence of humanity itself. But the role of the oil-producing nations, my friends, that is the question. It has not been written in stone, shall we say. The future is open and can go along an infinite number of lines. Thus, we ask your prayers in each present moment, at the end of each meditation, for the peace of the world. We would like to see it last long enough to fulfill its journey as a planet into the next vibration. Then, those among its people who must repeat again this particular vibration may peacefully leave and do so, leaving the planet for those to rebuild who are ready for the vibration of love. Is there another question? Questioner. Inaudible. Hatonn. That is inevitable, my sister, for the seeds have been planted long ago among your peoples. You have been a warlike people. You have not listened to your leaders in this spirit as a people, but to your growing polarity, your growing desire to possess territory, money, and power. From the very smallest unit, a person, to the very greatest unit, which in your culture is the multinational corporation, this is true. And it is through many centuries that your tradesmen and your bankers and your governments and your diplomats have forged an ever-growing stream of differences between one people and another. How many times, my sister, have you seen a map in which a mass of land is colored pink and blue and brown and green and yellow? My friends, we ask you sincerely, how can the Creator's land be so divided by men and so fought over? You see, it's in the hearts of men that this difficulty has been nurtured. Thus the planet itself and you, as part of the planetary consciousness, become more and more intensely polarized as a new vibration begins to take hold. This has been predicted and is entirely to be expected. It is indeed nothing to worry about, for whether you live a natural and peaceful life or whether you are prematurely removed from the physical, we of the Confederation are here to make quite sure that no souls will be shattered, even if there is a deployment of nuclear weapons. We are not concerned with the shadow of death. We are only concerned with the reality of souls and those we shall protect. We make this vow to you so that you will know that there is no such thing as death, only the removal of a chemical body that is not always totally without difficulty in the first place. So, it is no tremendous loss to leave such an illusion. That is the worst that can happen if the vibrations become so intense that nuclear weapons are deployed. Dawn. Nuclear explosion, inaudible. The spiritual body. Hatonn. That's why we came in the first place, my brother. We came because of the creation of an atomic weapon. This meant that not only would you have a difficult shift into the next cycle, for we knew that already, it meant also that it was possible that your people might actually destroy souls. Dawn. What happened in Nagasaki and Hiroshima? Hatonn. We were there, and no one was lost. The effect otherwise would have been to destroy souls. We were able to neutralize the portion of the explosion which disturbed the inner planes of your planet. We did not see fit to remove or neutralize the physical destruction, for, among other things, we felt that your people would then see what they had done and perhaps not do it again. However, we did not lose any souls in those explosions. Our only danger was in not being here in force when the first testing began. It was a matter of luck that we did not lose anyone in the early stages of that development. Dawn. How do you go about nullifying the effect? Hatonn. We are attempting to give information to this channel, but she cannot grasp it. It is technical. We give her the image of a screen, which is acting as a filter. But the screen is made up of vibration in the form of light. When the waves of destruction hit this web, they travel along the lines of force of the screen, while the souls of those who leave their physical bodies are not affected by the screen because of their different vibratory rate. The light screen is made up of something which we might call we are attempting to give the concept to this instrument. It is very difficult to work with her mind. We would call it negative energy light. The destructive energy of the explosion is attracted to those lines of force like a magnet, and thus removed from the sphere or plane to which souls repair upon leaving their physical bodies. I am sorry. We cannot be more specific, and, as we say, if we could have spoken through an instrument such as you with the knowledge of physics and mechanics, we would be able to be more fluent. However, we think that we have been able to give through this instrument, without undue distortion, the general idea of our mechanism for neutralizing the inner sphere destructive power of nuclear weapons. Is there another question? S. Inaudible. Hatonn. We are aware of your question, and we would say that your brother, Gandalf, is also somewhat disturbed. We would, with your permission, turn this meeting over to one of our brothers, who has been waiting to brief you and has a message in waiting. Would that be satisfactory to you? S. Yes. Hatonn. If there are no further questions from the one known as Dawn, I will then leave you. S. Actually, inaudible. Message, inaudible. Other, inaudible. Ask, inaudible. Hatonn. In that case, my sister, we will await your question. We will pause now. In love and light, I am Hatonn. I am Latwii, and I wish to add my foolish voice to the wise voice of my brother Hatonn in greeting the one known as S, who we have not been able to speak to before. Yet we were aware of her presence, and we are most grateful to be allowed to share a few words with you at this time. We are aware that things look a little down on planet Earth at this time. But let us tell you that things do not look so bad from where we are. Because from where we are, you are only where you are for a moment. And in that moment, you are working very hard. And after that moment, you will play. And before that moment, you will play. And what we would like to do, my sister, is learn how to play during the moment in which you are working very hard. We ask you simply to release all the burdens of your great responsibilities to the enjoyment of your distinguished feelings of positivity and happiness. Whatever burdens that you may carry, they will become weightless if you put them down. You do not have to carry them. You need only be the best person that you can be. Love the Creator with all your heart and let your heart touch others in a spirit of love. If light is shining from your eyes, the light of the Creator, That is your entire responsibility. You did not come into this world that the world might be entirely altered. You came into this world to display a talent. That talent is to show the love of the Creator. That talent is yours because you have studied and learned and loved through many lifetimes. That talent is yours instantaneously. The talent cannot be employed by worrying or grief or realizing with great grief the horrible plight of your planet. It is not that these things are not true. It is that your role in them is to love. No matter what may occur, your role will be to love. It is true that you came into this world to save it, for that was the desire that you had when you volunteered to come, and that is true of those in this room. It depends upon your definition of saving as to whether you have saved the world or not. You have surely made it a better place. You have raised the planetary consciousness through your lifetimes here. You have loved and remembered both the Creator and your mission. So we ask you to pick up your heels and be as loving as you really are. When you find negativity in yourself, know that that is the world pressing in upon you, and that it is not you. It is not what you came into this world with. That is not your personality. You may not be able to shrug it off, for you have had many years of training in your planetary society, and it is thriving on negative feelings all the time. But each time that you can, neutralize a negative feeling and replace it with a conscious love that comes from knowing who you are, what love is, and whence love comes. In each of those times, you have improved not only yourself, but the climate of the planet itself. We ask you to look upon these times as you would a movie. Say you have some inside information. Very well then, use it as such. Nudge somebody on the bus and say, "I told you so." They won't know what you mean. When the next tidal wave hits, when the next diplomat storms out in anger, you may nod your head knowingly, for you have heard it here first. But it is meaningless, my friends, unless you understand it in terms of time. Time is an illusion in which you are now taking part. And in this illusion of time, you are completing a cycle. And there are things which are going awry due to difficulties in the vibration of your peoples. And you will do what you can, and you will love as best you can. And when it is over, you will look back upon it, and it will be a very interesting movie that you have enjoyed. And it will have lasted the normal movie time, and you will come out of this movie saying, "What did you think of that movie? That was an interesting movie. Did you like the ending? What did you think of the plot? How about the heroes? Did you like the costumes?" This is just how much this will mean to you when you reach reality, or shall we say, comparative reality. It will be in any event the reality of the spirit, as opposed to the reality of the flesh, both of which are illusions, but one of which is more real, and that is the spirit. Thus, seek always to know who you are in spirit. Seek always to know the heart of the present, which is love, and you will not be openly disturbed because your mission is taking a turn you did not expect. Flow with it. Watch the plot develop around you, and soon you will be talking about this movie, which has been your life and the life of those about you. We encourage you to be a good heroine in that movie, to be as wise as you can be, as loving as you can be, as analytical of your own faults and as confident of your own virtues as you can be. What more could you ask from a heroine, my sister? We are all the heroes and heroines of our own motion pictures when we have begun a lifetime in an illusion such as yours. Thus, let the movie be one which you will be glad to watch later. Now, you are an actor, but let yourself also be the observer, the director that keeps your part on an even keel. You are indeed an agent of the creators, for you are part of the Creator. And always remember that identity with the Creator and with His creation. Whatever the rest of the planet may be doing, you can be co-creator. Yours can be the imagination and the love and the individuality that others may lack. When the time comes, you will be in the company of those who, like you, were attempting to be of help. And we will meet you then. We and the brothers of the Confederation, and it will be quite a grand meeting. And we shall all laugh and rejoice together, for we will have been through quite a bit together. We will look for you there, my sister, in person, and you will see us as light, as we will see you as light. And in the meantime, we are with you in spirit as you deal day by day with your illusion. Do not become entrapped in that illusion, but remember always the original thought of the Creator, which is love. You are a light being. You are not an earth being. Do not be trapped, my sister. We ask each of you, pray your prayers, do your deeds, but do not be trapped by them. Act only upon your ideals, on your faith, and your love of the Creator in your heart. Let those things be your all in all. The rest of the world and all of its traps, let them go by. They do not cause you to laugh. They do not cause you great joy. But only what is in your heart can cause you to laugh and can cause you to have great joy. We are not saying that it is not right to have possessions, position, power. All these things are neutral. If in your heart you remember the Creator and you love one another. What will happen? We of Latwii do not know. We are enjoying the colors of your planet. We are watching them as they vacillate and change in the inner dimensions. Your planet is quite beautiful in these dimensions, and it is in these dimensions that we stay for the most part. Your group is one of the very few which we have spoken to. We thank you for that opportunity, and we urge you to always keep the light touch. Join us in the big belly laugh, for you have a very funny planet, a very silly planet, a very foolish planet. And sometimes when you are sane and those about you are not, you have a very lonely laughter. But don't forget to laugh, even if you laugh alone. This is only a movie. Have a bite of popcorn and keep on. That is all we came to tell you, my sister. We are always with you if you ask us, and we hope you can hear our laughter and our joy when you need it. We leave you all in the light of the infinite Creator and the love that created that light. We will now turn the meeting back to Hatonn. I am Latwii. Hatonn. I am with the instrument. I am Hatonn. We were attempting to contact the one known as Dawn, but he is more fatigued than the one known as Carla. Thus, we will use this instrument. Please go ahead with your questions. Questioner. I was very flabbergasted when you said that the bombs could destroy souls. Inaudible. Forgotten it a great deal. Inaudible. Images as you were saying it. Inaudible. Created. Inaudible. Goes beyond the boundaries of free will. Inaudible. Confusing to me. Inaudible. I don't even know how to phrase the question. I hope you can perhaps open my mind. Inaudible. My confusion. Inaudible. Hatonn. I will attempt to use this instrument. The classification of the people you see upon this earth, inaudible, is somewhat inherent, inaudible. Mortals are precisely identical to immortals, if you are assuming these two classifications. What you call a mortal is the chemical appearance of what you call immortal. It is the clothing of the immortal for a short period of time, inaudible. Physical plane of existence. The immortal is always the active force. The mortal is only temporary, inaudible. Very intense. Therefore, the action of the mortal is always the action of the immortal. The immortal is the creator. The mortal is his physical appearance in this particular plane of existence. Is it possible then for the creator to destroy himself or cause, shall we say, termination of the continuity for a portion of his experience? This is possible. It is possible through the association of the intelligent configuration, inaudible, vibratory nature, inaudible, the individualized consciousness, which is a portion of the infinite creator. This is possible with a form of technology which you know of, the nuclear explosion device. This device has effect not only on the physical clothes of the entity, that is, the chemical body, but also the subtle body, which you call the soul. The reason for this is the very nature of the nuclear device. Energy generated from this device is spinning energy, what you call the atom. The atom is a vibratory arrangement, motion manifested in both what you know as the physical plane and several planes beneath, shall we say, the physical. The spiritual or soul body is composed of, shall we say, a more subtle vibratory arrangement. From your point of view, in the chemical body, this vibratory arrangement is highly energetic. A large portion of the energy, inaudible, from the nuclear explosion is contained at this level of vibration. For this reason, the detonation of a nuclear device affects more subtle planes of existence, as you would call it. We were first attracted to your planet in great numbers because of the threat, shall we say, to a portion of the individualized consciousness of the infinite creator. We were, shall we say, quite inaudible, invading threat. We were successful and shall be successful in the future. At this point, the tape recording this session ends here, thus ending our transcript.
Go forth then, rejoicing in the power and the peace of the one infinite Creator.